Yo, guys, welcome back to another episode, another value bomb of Black Swan system. In this episode, specifically, we're going to be discussing strategies you're going to be using or we use to meet nines and tens consistently. Very high quality girls, like jaw dropping, head turner women. What works, what doesn't work, and how you can implement, especially in 2025 and beyond. We'll discuss everything, no stone unturned. Let's jump right into it.
And this will be especially important for 2025 and all the other following years because as we noticed and a lot of guys noticed in the past years is that online dating, cold approach, it got very, very hard in the last few years. So why is that actually? What happened in the world?
So before we jump into that, like how exactly like to meet them, what are the strategies which work? It's like not a hidden secret, but like it's something we are using it consistently. The people we work with, our clients are using it to meet very high quality women. Let's talk about what not to do or what is not good for meeting nines and tens specifically. What doesn't work?
Yeah, well, what I don't want to say cold approach doesn't work anymore, but it used to work way, way better a few years ago when you had that peak phase from other companies in the dating market who were pushing cold approach very, very hard. And of course, we did that very, very much and it worked, but it doesn't work anymore that much. So, because over the last years, a lot of people pushed themselves and labeled themselves as dating coaches too, even though they did like 100 approaches, cold approaches throughout the day or in the night, and everyone is labeling themselves as a dating coach. And when everyone is pushing like a offer like that out, acquiring, for example, customers, then of course you will saturate at some point a market. Because when I think back when I used to do cold approach a lot, it was this secret thing. And then when you do that and you talk to women, then you're this brave guy and women respect you for that. But in today's day and age, especially in big cities like Munich, Hamburg, Berlin, here in Germany, or other big cities in Europe, a lot of guys are doing that, and women are at that point where they are like fucked up about this. And when we talk to girls, I mean, we meet girls all the time through social circle events and whatnot. And when we talk to them and we ask them questions like, "Hey, do you guys approach you on the street?" And all of them say, yeah, they do approach me on the street. There was this one guy who approached me when I came here on my way here, but I just gave him my number, but I won't reply to him, and blah, 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 blah. It used to work very, very good, but I think cold approach is slowly dying out. So what's your take on this?
The way I see cold approach, man, like I think it's, in my personal opinion, depending on your skill level, right? There are guys, let's say if you are a top 0.1% of anything, of course you will slay it, right?
Yeah.
But like how much effort, how many years you need to invest into this, right? To perfect every single, like the way you breathe, the way you look, eye contact, like fuck man, that's like too inefficient for me, right? The way like you do transition, like, you know, like you bunch of fucking verbal gymnastics. I'm not into that, right? So also like even that, you still have to go out, at a time when like, you know, these people you like, steps per minute. You have to go out at a time when like, you know, there are girls out there. And when it's winter, just girls don't want to, you know, like you even go out. They just go straight away to restaurants, bars and clubs or to hang out with friends.
Yes.
Right? So it's timely, very inefficient. It can work, but I've talked to girls from like I've dated or like, you know, from a circle. They never really dated a guy who was like a cold approach artist. It can work, but like maybe not on the very stunning girls, right? Because I've not seen it. The coaches would talk about, man. Like I saw one picture from a coach I used to watch when I was like, you know, still struggling. The girl he was with, I'm like, man, that girl I would probably get from a dating app.
Yeah, cold approach is a very, as you mentioned, a seasonal thing. You can do it very good in the summer, and there's nothing wrong about cold approaching some girls in the garden if it's like 30 degrees outside. Of course, you go for it, man. I mean, if you say beautiful girl on the streets and you don't have any cold approach anxiety, so then just do it. There's nothing wrong about that.
We're talking here nines and tens, man.
Nines and tens.
Nines and tens season only. Tens only season. So
talking about nines and tens, when I think back to my cold approach time, and I was out a fucking lot. I mean, like a lot. And I was even holding day game sessions here in Munich. And during all those years when I was out in day game, maybe there were like 20 to 30 like really jaw-dropping, stunning women that I can think back of. Maybe there were more, maybe less, but just around about 30 women where I thought, yeah, this is like, phew, she looks like an angel. But of course, she wasn't alone. She was either with her girlfriends or with her boyfriend. Or if you happen to close her, then all of a sudden she doesn't reply to you anymore. So it's not suitable if you want to meet knights and tens. So let's be clear on that.
So cold approach, not very effective to meet girls in general, and certainly not to meet like top tier girls. Okay.
Yeah.
So what about online dating apps?
I mean, forget that. So I mean, just if you want to meet nines and tens on dating apps, it's like saying, "Hey, I want to stay up awake all night to meet Santa Claus." I mean, it just won't happen. I hate to bring it to you, it won't happen. I mean, of course, if you look like Ryan Gosling and you're a male model and you have exceptionally good text game and you do online dating very, very hard, you spend a lot of money on those boosted things and you upgrade your account, yes, there's a potential you can meet them. I'm not saying like there's zero potential, but we're talking here about regular guys. So the majority of guys. And the majority of guys, they struggle to even meet one girl from online dating without putting in too much work. You have to ask yourself, why would a 9 or 10 be on an online dating? Because 9s and 10s, they have value. They get invited to a lot of other shit. They are hanging around with cool guys on exclusive events. They go to the exclusive parties and they happen to know other beautiful girls. Beautiful girls know other beautiful girls, and beautiful girls know other beautiful girls and high value men, and they invite each other to cool shit.
Sounds like a pyramid scheme.
It's a pyramid scheme, yeah.
So, okay, right? So just to give my thoughts on that, right? I have like a very killer ass profile, right? I've put in fake height. I increased my height like 6 centimeters.
Damn.
Right? So it works, right? So I look like what do you call it? What's the guy from 365 Days, like the Italian guy, Michel Morone. Don't get me wrong, I might be pronouncing his name right, but like it's a guy, who's like doing 365 days shit, like 50 Shades of Grey, but European version, right? So I have like a profile which resembles him. I step out of a G-Wagon, things like that, right? I put like dominance. So I get a lot of positive reactions. I do get a lot of, I would say, good matches. These are, I think, on the higher end, like I'm matching with like 7s and 8s, right? Which is good, like for most guys. But like the quality that we see in our circle is still not there. Right? And as you said, like a girl who's a 9 or 10, she already has a network. Like a 10 is like meeting successful guys, right?
Yeah.
So if a 9 is connected with a few 9s, she's going to meet guys through her friend.
Yes.
This is how they network, right? It's like guys who are successful, they meet other guys through their friends. Same way with the girls, like who are attractive. They know some of their friends have figured out, who have made it to the top. So they rely on that, and then this is how they introduce. And this is also the topic, the best strategies that we will jump into, what we have seen working and what is way more effective and what makes gaming, easier.
Yeah. Yeah. So what about yoga classes then? Don't they have beautiful women?
Well, depends on where you go, man. Like if you are into like, there might be some very hot MILFs out there.
Yeah.
If you're into MILFs who are hot, that can definitely work.
Yeah.
Right. I know some guys who just go there to meet women. Like there's like a room of 20 girls and you're the only one guy.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I've tried it and I was figuring things out. I joined like a hip hop dance class. I was like surrounded by some teenagers. Like, okay, not too young, but like they were like 18 and 19.
Yeah.
Some of them were like in the 20s. It felt so weird to me. I was like the only guy. They were like 30 girls. Some of them were attractive, right? And then I have like 2 guys out there. I'm like, the other guy, like he looked gay. I'm like, okay, fuck.
Well, was he hitting on you?
But like the way he walked, I'm like, fuck. So maybe the girl's saying, okay, I'm also gay. Why would a guy who's like, dominant, masculine, that kind of thing? What the fuck he would do there, right? Well, I did end up meeting a girl from there. We dated for some time. She was also really attractive. I think it's still a very good way to meet girls. I think I would still try it out, have a social circle.
Yeah.
If you like dancing, that kind of thing. The thing is, I just did not like dancing. I just went there to be able to see what can I make happen. Yoga classes, I don't know, if you're flexible, you can impress a girl. Hey, look at my splits. That might work, right? But quality-wise, I don't think a lot of girls that I know not all of them are into yoga. It's like a subset of girls who do that. Dancing can be, because like girls who dance, they are very fit, they're athletic. So I would say that is good, but nothing too major, I would say.
You hear from a lot of guys that they meet their girlfriends through similar interests, be it yoga, be it dancing, or if you're like into Warhammer 40k and you have some nerd friends and you are visiting those board games groups, then of course you can meet your girlfriend there, but that's the point. You shouldn't force yourself to just go to somewhere just to have a slight chance to meet a girl, right? So yeah, if online dating doesn't work and cold approach doesn't work, so do I have to remain a virgin for the rest of my life?
Well, okay, it's not that if they don't work. We're talking about the most efficient way. If you're like an entrepreneur watching this, or if you're a guy who like, you know, who is like successful on paper, you know, like you're living a good life, you can afford something in life, and like you're like, hey man, like I deserve more. I want to be around girls. Like maybe it's driving through some insecurity you have, like from the past. You know, like for myself, I was not getting any attention. Now I get more attention. I want even more. So these things are like driven from insecurity, right? So okay, I worked hard. I made some money. Now I like deserve a girl like who is, you know, like a trophy wife, right? So we're talking about here what works for getting those kind of girls. Talking about what is the most efficient way. All these things can work. Cold approach can work. Online dating can work, because like that's why these are like multi-billion-dollar businesses, right? Tinder, Bumble, like Match.com applications. They are there for a reason. They work, right? But like not for a specific type of girl, right? If a girl is like coming home, the first night you meet her, might not be the wife quality, right? Even though I'm trying to make it happen with all the girls, right? But I'm for sure, okay, she did it with me. Like if a guy who's good at game, she's gonna do it with him as well. So these are things. So I would say all these things can work, but these are not the most efficient way if you have less time and like you're a successful guy.
Yeah, especially cold approach is very, very time consuming. So this is not something I would recommend for guys who are successful, who have other things to do, just to every day go through the city and approach girls, right? And even online dating can be very, very time consuming too. So, I mean, if you're successful, you have to spend some time to meet a girl. I mean, you can't like deny that part, but there are like way more efficient ways, of course, right? And the most efficient way is basically just to get access to some places where all the hot girls hang around. So that's basically the solution. But how does a guy actually get access to those places?
Okay, so there are different ways you can do that. Either like join some clubs, like members club, right? Make a circle, like in, you know, when we work with the clients, we tell them, we help them lay out a map or like a hotspot map of their own city. There are, in every city, there are like 5 places, like clubs, restaurants, bars, and other places where these people go to. And you start going to a place consistently, right? This is like how you would operate initially. That's one way to do it. Like you go where there's more density of those kind of girls. That's one way to do it. That takes time. In the other video before, we talked about using photo shoots as a funnel, right, to meet girls. This is like when you are short on time and you want to bring girls into your circle as fast as possible. That's also very effective. This is sometimes we also like we do multiple photo shoots throughout the year, and it has been like very successful to build a circle, right? So let's assume for some time you already have 1 or 2 girls who are very attractive in your circle. You meet them through either a photo shoot or you meet them through like other members club or things like that, right? What you can do is like you meet these other girls through these girls. You do things together. You can, you know, we discussed in the previous video before, you can go to brunch, you can go to nightclubs together, right? Or you can just go to cool events together and like invite them and then tell them, hey, bring a girl who has similar energy as you with you. And then you tell her to share their Instagram, so to make sure that the energy is not too wide.
The energy, you get me. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, but you were talking about, hey, if you already have girls in your circle. So you are mentioning, hey, if you have, for example, 1 or 2 girls in your circle, bring them to members clubs or some other clubs and whatnot. But what if you're a guy, you're successful, you have less time, but you don't know anyone, so you don't know any girl. So what would be like the first step to meet as effective and efficient as possible some new girls to even have that possibility?
If I was the guy, I would like, okay, I don't have capital restriction, right? I'm like, well, I have enough capital, I can, invest in that, right? What I would do is like, I would network with the photographers, top photographers, try to make things happen, maybe start like a project with him, and then like through photographers, like the ones who are well known, they're already connected with like top models. They can be a very good source, right? And if you can build something with them together, right? If you gain their trust, man, like you will be so easy. Especially there might be some female photographers as well. So I will try reaching out to them. I pitch like an idea. Hey, I want to start this project together. We have like different ideas. We can do the simplest funnel is like, hey, I want to start like a creative thing in my city. Like you do photo shoots together, you do things together. This is like the more effective way, right? You can reach out to these people. If you're cold, of course, you will need to reach out to more people. But just drop me a message and I will tell you, like you can use some of our content even to reach out to those people. And then this will increase your chances. So once you're connected with them, you can drive through people's network. This is like a faster way to do it, I would say.
Yeah, photo shoots, as we discussed in a previous episode, is one of the most effective ways to meet a bunch of girls now, and especially if there's a photographer in one city and he has already some kind of reach. And photographers, and I myself, I'm a photographer, you do photos, and these people, they are always happy to spend some time with hot girls and to shoot them. And they will always reply to you if you shoot them a message on Instagram. So it's quite easy to connect with them and then organize something small. It doesn't have to be like a big kind of thing, a big project that takes years or months to organize. You can always do some smaller stuff to get your feet into their world and to connect very quickly with some high quality girls, right? And if you know them, they have trust in you, you did something cool, something creative together, you created some content together, and then they're way more likely to go to some bar or member club with you. So there's nothing wrong with that.
What are the coolest events happening in your city? Right. For example, we were at a fashion show the last week, right? You were a part of it. And I was like, also like doing things there. That's where you meet like very high quality girls. Have an eye on what's coming up in your city. If you live in a smaller city, then the nearest city to you. Because like a lot of these girls, they also travel sometimes like 2 hours one direction to be able to participate in these events. So like they also want to make stories, make them look cool. Yeah, they can like travel 2 hours one direction, man. This is crazy. I'm not sure if I would do that. Attend an event in fucking Stuttgart or Nuremberg and then come back to make fucking stories, like to make myself look cool. But like these girls do that. Just be part of those events. Take a friend with you and like just chat like in a non-pickup-y way, right? If you like, try to slay your games, hey, this is how I DHV, this is like how I do this.
Yeah, so this shit won't work. So especially if you're coming from pickup and you have a strong pickup background. And I had my moments where it backfired to me as well, where I was slowly getting into that social circle thing, and I was coming from a strong pickup background. And then I was doing like the hand of God thing, spinning the girls, trying to make out with them. Like, no. So I'm not saying you shouldn't be physical with girls, but you should be socially calibrated. And for example, a fashion show where we were at, there were tons of beautiful girls there, but it's not like you should now aim to pull one right then and there or fuck one girl in the bathroom or make out with them. So that's weird. Of course, if you're at one of those events, make sure to talk to people because I've seen guys who attend those events, but they aren't social active at all. So, and of course, You won't meet girls that way if you're not socially active. So you should approach girls there. But the beautiful thing is that all the people, for example, at a fashion show or some members club, they're all high value and they're all very, very well connected with each other. And so if you speak to one girl, one guy, they will open up doors for you to other directions. So this is the huge benefit that you only have if you're at some exclusive events, right?
Right. We also do some of our big events, where 50 to 100 people show up. It's pretty cool as well. When you talk to a girl over there, she's very beautiful. If you talk to her on the street, she's not gonna even look at you like straight.
Yeah.
Like she might look at you for a few seconds, but she's gonna like look the other way. Especially if you are like below average attractive.
Yeah.
Or like you don't like look like a alpha Chad thunder from down under, right? If you don't look like that, she might not even react to you positively, right? But like in these exclusive events, right? I've like personally seen like for myself and like for people I work with, like the girls are like very positively reacting towards you, right? Because like they assume you are some shit, right? That like if you were a brokey, you could not afford to be there.
Yeah, you're already pre-qualified.
Exactly. So I think the surrounding, the environment itself helps you a lot. So you need lesser game. But not to say if you are like a virgin and then you have no skills, you still need to be social, right? You still need to come up with confidence. Your non-verbals, because 80% of the communication is what? It's non-verbal, like sub-communication, how you talk, still very important. But it makes it way more easier to meet these girls. And if you have like cool things going on in your life, then it becomes much, much easier.
So it's very easy to approach girls during social gatherings like events, charity galas, fashion shows, especially fashion shows, because it's very, very easy to approach them. And like you said, you're already qualified to be there. So girls will be more receptive to you, to talk to you. And it is a social event. People are constantly talking to each other, communicating with each other, exchanging contacts, so on and so forth. And if you just approach a girl with a slight comment like, hey, you look beautiful, hey, nice dress or whatever, you're instantly on her radar because you're qualified to be there. She's obviously looking beautiful. You approach her and you're obviously on that event to be social together. It's not like on the street where you approach a girl and then you have to at first like solve some objections of her being late for some stuff or she being in a hurry. She's there for a reason and she will stay there and she will be more than happy to talk to you if you do it right, of course.
I would still not go direct, right? Like calling a girl beautiful. I was talking to this one girl, right? She's like, I fucking hate it when guys call me beautiful. Because like, I fucking know. It's like telling a guy, hey man, like you are 7 foot tall. Like every fucker telling like, hey, you're 7 foot tall. I'm like, brother, I know. Hey man, you're so tall. Bro, I know. Tell me something else, right? Same thing with like chicks, right? So if you tell a girl beautiful, she hears that every fucking day, then you are not able to separate yourself from the other pack, right? Other guys. Then Business said that. So you have to compliment on something that she had to work for. If she's a doctor, ask her what kind of doctor she is, right? For example, like let's keep it to an event where you meet a girl. The way I would do it, hey, I love like the dress you're wearing. Very creative. Like what is your inspiration? Because like you have to make it situational. On fashion shows, people talk about what is your inspiration? How did you, because like these girls, like they put in fucking 4 weeks in thinking, okay, this is my dress. This is how I'm going to, they use Pinterest. They use, follow different celebrities and then they come up with an idea. It's not like they randomly grab like, a suit like a man, then we just go for it, right? No.
Yeah.
So they have to give thought. And then, so if she puts effort, he would like to talk about that. Hey, I watched this post on Pinterest. I was following this celebrity, that celebrity. That's like a much easier way to approach these girls, have a conversation, and then you can transition into further things. This is how I would say open these girls.
So, all right, let's say you approached a girl on, for example, the fashion week where we were last weekend. And how would you move things forward with her? So you approached her, you're exchanging details about your life, what she's doing, blah, 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 blah. You have good energy, how to move forward. This is one thing that 99% of the guys struggle with is that connection part or that closing part, how to get her number, how to move things forward.
Right, so I will first figure out what her logistics are, right? So the things you learn from game, like who is she here with? What is she doing after this? What is she doing tomorrow? I'll see like what kind of logistical objection. If you're here, the girl is attracted to you, you will see, if she's reacting to you positively, but she is like leaving the country for the next 1 year. Then, like going on a date doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So I will see how I can make things happen. We can talk about the game part some other time.
Yeah.
How you can make things happen on the same night or the as fast as possible. But most of the time people have to do shit, right? So that won't be the case. In that case, if I have to meet them for a follow-up date or meet them on some different date, what I would do is I would talk about, say, what we have in common. I will talk about things like what she likes to certain kind of kitchen, right? For example, I like Indian food, right? Because I come from that region. So a lot of these girls I've connected on, I do like spicy food. I don't think you can handle spicy food, right? This is like my kind of fun way to play with it, right? Okay, I'm like, you don't look like you can eat spicy. Come on.
Yeah.
You're like the fucking blondest girl, like with blue eyes. I don't think you will be able to eat spicy at all. She's like, no, you have no idea. I'm like, yeah, show me. And then we grab food sometime, right? So this is one way. Another way is if you have some sports activity in common, right? She likes to go to a fucking running club, or she likes to go skiing, right? Or she likes to play tennis, or she's into art. You can say, well, I like to go to this museum, that museum, right? So I would like to find out commonalities that we share. This has to be actionable, right? A thing we can eat, bar we can go to, art thing we can do together. So if I find, I will try out all different variations. Food, right? It's my least favorite way because when you're eating, you cannot really talk that much. Drinking is very good, but going to a museum is also nice, or playing tennis is also nice because you're doing some activity.
Yeah.
So I will see which one of these she's going to be reacting to most positively, and then I will see if we can make things happen. My favorite line is hey, when was the last time you did, let's say, take tennis, right? I tried it a few times, worked very well. Because tennis is also a high status activity, right? So in every city you will see a tennis court. Okay, when was the last time you played tennis? She's going to say 2 weeks ago. And how often do you do it? Well, every now and then. When is the next time? Cool, we should do it soon. She's going to say yes, and then you plan things there. This is how I would plan things if I see she's very interested and, make things happen with her. But let's say you don't have much time with her. Then you can do, hey, by the way, you seem cool. We are gathering together as friends in this restaurant. So there are different ways, right? Depending on how much interest you feel like you are getting from her. Depending on that, I would build a strategy if I want to bring her to another friend's event, or if I want to take her out on a one-to-one activity or date.
Yeah, so this is what I prefer to do too, is to bring that girl to some other event. So what I do a lot is that I just show right then and there on my Instagram. I tell her, hey, this is what we do. We do photo shoots, we do dinner events, and then pretty much all of the cases, girls will say, oh my God, that looks so beautiful. I want to be part of that. And then next time you can invite her to some brunch, to some sports activity or some bigger event that you do, and then try to connect closer with her if you don't happen to have the potential there at the event to connect more with her, or maybe you want to connect with as much people as possible, depending on what your goals are. This is my preferred way of closing the girls, right? So that's a very effective thing because they will be very intrigued to join you as a friends group next time and get to know you closer. And then at the friends group, when you're gathering up, for example, for a brunch, it's you, your buddy, and 5 to 6 girls, and she will come there, then she will be instantly thinking, oh my God, 2 guys, a lot of beautiful girls, and she will instantly assume that you have more value, and she will see your status going way, way up, because there's a reason if a guy hangs out with a lot of girls, right? It happened to us a lot of times when we brought girls to some dinner events or to some brunches, and there were some new girls that we didn't know up until that point. They were all at the beginning baffled to see the group constellation, right? Because it's not usual if 2 guys go brunching with 5 or 6 girls. It's usually the other way around.
Or just girls or guys separately.
But we were talking right now about some fancy fashion shows and some stuff that I would say is more the result of you doing something like that consistently. But what about you live in a city where you don't have any fashion shows? If there's nothing going on, so no big events, and you live in a city with let's say 300,000 people, which is quite a small city, but it's fine. How do I go about this? So if there's nothing big happening, so where do I find those exclusive events and clubs? Because I can go to the club around the corner where everyone goes like every weekend, but where do I find those cool places where the cool kids hang around?
In cities like that, right? So let's even go lower. Let's say if you live in a city where like 100,000 people live, 300,000 is good, right? So there's nothing cool like that happening. People usually go to the biggest cities nearby, so there's nothing happening. But let's say your city is like a bit remote, right? In like 2 hours, like there's nothing. There's, like even like in 2 hours radius, there's no big city where cool things are happening. Otherwise, it just makes logistically more sense to just go there. But let's say like you live in the middle of no fucking where, and like you are just trapped there. In that case, like what you're probably saying is that there is no scene. When there's no scene, it's a bad thing, but also a good thing, because if you try to make something happen, you will get positive response from everyone. So in a sense, you create your own scene. You could do anything. You could start a members club for active people, members club, or like a community for models and aspiring creators. That would go really well. You could like start doing a photo shoot. That would go really well. In a city like that, where is, let's say, these offers, right? Offers like cool things to do. Whereas like less cool things to do, and you're the only one, man, you're gonna crush it. But like there's literally no competition. Where else people would go to? Nowhere. So that's what I would do. It takes a bit more effort because you have to build something on your own. But you will crush it at the same time because no one else is doing it. So that's why you will be very successful.
Every city, for example, let's say 100K people in one city, there's still a ton of girls in those cities. It's not like all the beautiful girls on the big cities. So a city even with 50K people who live there will be some beautiful girls. So a month ago, I was in another city where I had a video shoot, and that city had like, I think like 10K people who lived there. And when we walked through the small inner city, so every city has this one street where all the people go to get some ice cream or to go shopping. So that street is in every city, no matter the size, right? And when we walked through the city, we still saw like stores for lingerie. I mean, there's a reason that these stores are there, and we were still seeing girls passing by who looked beautiful. And there's one thing to approach these girls. Of course, you can do that, but there's a reason that beautiful girls are still living in that city. And every city has some beautiful girls. And one of the easiest way is to either create your own scene or do like the photo shoots, which will, in the long run, if you do them consistently, will create your own scene where you can attract all the beautiful girls. Because that's one benefit that I would say if you live in a smaller city and you throw some photo shoot events or connect with the photographers, and every city has those, and you have a photo shoot event where beautiful girls attend your photo shoot event, there's a way higher chance that those beautiful girls will talk to their other beautiful girl friends because they know each other. Beautiful girls know other beautiful girls. They hang at the same bars and clubs at the weekend around, and it will spread very, very fast because you have no competition, lesser people that are a distraction for those girls. So you can make that definitely happen in a smaller city.
Another thing that we are currently trying inside Black Swan system is like we're using meta ads. Right, it's not for like if you're a student, of course, it's not gonna work for you. But if you have like a few like $100-200 to spare per month, this can definitely work for you, right? So we are currently testing it. Girls to even like come up to a photo shoot, you still need to reach out to them, find them, things like that. We're testing how we can overcome that, right? So I'm testing out like different methods, like personally, and like we'll know it more like in the 2-3 months. How the response is getting. Because what I've seen is like there are some girls who are like super attractive, but they have like private profiles for whatever reason, right? Or they have like, they're attractive, but like they don't want to do modeling. So then photo shoots are not going to work for them, right? So we are testing out new ways to reach out to these girls, because that can help with that. Because all of these girls are on one application, which is Instagram. So if you know how to play it properly, if you have your Instagram profile dialed in, it's gonna do really well. So it's something we're testing. We only speak here things we have successfully implemented. This is something I will know more about, let's say in 2 months from now, or even a month from now. then I will be able to speak more about this, how we can implement it successfully. So there are like so many different ways. And then once you get like 4 or 5 girls in the door, man, they start liking you.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, you become good friends with them. They
Yeah.
trust you, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then it's like a easy game from there.
Yeah.
Because like you have some proof that you're cool. Otherwise, the girls would not spend time with you. Then it's like your status increases, and like other girls like also start coming to you.
And you have to keep in mind we are speaking about a setup here, because for a lot of people, I can imagine this sounds like a lot of work, and of course it requires some work. You have to do that work just once, and then it's set up. Then you have those girls that you know, and of course you have to focus on more on the networking part at the beginning rather than just fucking all of them. And then if you establish that network, it's way easier in the long run to connect to other beautiful girls. And the benefit of that is if you hang around with a lot of beautiful girls, other beautiful girls will automatically be attracted to you. So when you go, for example, so after a month where you do all that stuff that we say, you go to some bar or some club and you hang around with some girls, people will notice that. People will talk about that and it will spread very, very fast. All right, so to wrap everything up, here's the step-by-step plan, very, very easy to understand. So first, you focus on getting to know some beautiful girls. So you connect on Instagram with the right guys. You can go for photographers, for example, organize photo shoots, or take part of photo shoots if there's something happening in your city, or you go to some special member clubs. You have to do some research on Instagram. And once you find out some specific locations or some beautiful girls, you just try to organize with them some social gathering. Doesn't have to be necessarily something big. And then you do the fun stuff. And after that fun stuff, you do smaller things. For example, go to brunch, go to some restaurant, go to some club, and everything else from there on will escalate very, very fast. So that was it for this episode. I hope you guys got a lot of value out from this. And if you want some specific help on your specific situation, if you're a guy, you make a lot of money, but you don't know how to get connected to those beautiful girls that we are talking right now here, go to our Instagrams, go to Ant's Instagrams, go to my Instagrams, and you will see the proof that what we pray and teach is working. Go through our stories, especially through the story highlights, and you will see us hanging around with a lot of girls almost every weekend. And if you want specific help on that, just shoot us a message or go to the Calendly link, book a call either with Ants or with me, and then we will see how to help you in your specific situation.